got some families that we're about to meet that are holding out hope in regards to being able to find their loved ones. Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona. His overturned Jeep and belongings were found in a nearby ravine. His parents, David and Melissa, need our help. We wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us about your son, Daniel.
I had a moment when you showed me his picture.
Yeah.
Just looking at him, it's so difficult. You want to talk to him, you want to hug him. Daniel is my hero. Just reading his text, telling me how he feels about me, leaving the very last message on June the 21st, telling me how he loves me.
Hey, Mama. I just wanted to see how you're doing. I just want to let you know I love you. And, yeah, we could talk later. All right, bye.
Oh, wow. And that was the last time that you heard from him?
Yeah.
David, when was it that you guys decided that something was not right?
On June 23rd, I received a phone call from my daughter. She alerted me that one of the co-workers came by and was searching for Daniel. We weren't getting any answers to his phone. They said he was last seen at his job site roughly 9 o'clock that morning. And I just knew immediately that things wasn't right because Daniel, he would never, ever not answer his phone, first of all. And the second thing is not tell us where he was going.
Right. I think that's really important because the idea of patterns, I'm really big on that, even with my children. What David is basically saying is that a pattern was broken. And so he saw immediately that this is out of character.
Right.
Something is wrong.
And that's so important for police officers when they start to investigate these cases. One of the first questions they'll ask is was this normal? Was this something he would do? Because the thought is, maybe they're just not calling you. There is this tendency to say, why don't you just give it a little bit?
Right.
You might hear from him. He might come around.
Yeah.
But it's got to be, this is not like my son.
Yeah.
And you are the one who knows your child.
Right.
To have them understand, no, this, what's out of the ordinary.
David, is it my understanding that you've relocated to Arizona to lead the search for your son?
Upon putting in a missing person report with the Buckeye Police Department, they said they was going to go out, search the next following morning because it was too dark when I called in. And once that morning came and they canceled and alerted me that being that my son is grown, he's an adult, he's allowed to leave. When I heard that, that was unacceptable to me, so I grabbed everything I could and I just started driving. I made it out here and I've been here since June the 26th.
Got it.
Searching for my son. We're going to find Daniel.
Was it difficult to get the police to just take seriously that Daniel was missing?
Yes, even from the first day. You know, we know our son, and you know, it's very out of character. Things didn't add up. It was very difficult just to even get movement. They did a first search for my son, which was 3 days later. I haven't gotten any support from the police department. I mean, nothing. We have been fortunate to get our own cadaver dogs and search dogs, even the aircraft, drones. We've been on it. The searches, full of volunteers. The difficulty has been getting media attention. And I stayed up many nights emailing, texting, calling, visiting, whatever it took just to get something going. It lasted for 3 months. 3 hard months.
David, you actually hired your own investigator, right? You're saying the word we, but this does not include the police. You've had to do this independently, right?
That's correct. That is correct. I say we because everybody who come out to the searches, we're family. That's my extended family.
That's right.
Yeah.
We put long hours out there in 118-degree weather. They're dedicated people. The things that I feel, and my son's mother, is the things that the people that serve and protect should be doing. We found ourselves doing it.
When you talk about the searches that you've been putting together, how were you able to do that?
I didn't know anyone when I hit the ground here. I didn't know how to get involved. I never organized anything in my life.
Right.
So I just reached out to any and everybody I could. What I was trying to do is find people who actually knew about the desert conditions.
Got it.
When you found the car, all his belongings were inside the car, correct?
Well, it's a rancher found our son's vehicle, and that was on July the 19th. When I received the call, it was 9 o'clock that morning, the next day after they found my son's vehicle. The first thing the detective said to me was, "Hey, Mr. Robinson, we found your son's vehicle." That just took my breath away, thinking that maybe I'll hear something else horrible. I'm going to tell his mother. I said, "Okay, when was it found?" And he told me it was found the day before. And I asked him, "Okay, why you guys didn't call me?" "We didn't want to disturb your sleep." That made me uptight. My son's clothing, everything he had on his body was about 3 feet away from the vehicle in a pile. His safety vest that he wore the day he went missing was another foot away. His cell phone was in the vehicle, work computer. His wallet was in the pants pocket in the pile. I know that's difficult for his mother to hear all this. Excuse me, give him a moment. One of the things that struck me the most, my son is only 24 years old.
Yeah.
They're attached to their phones. I know they are.
Right.
And I couldn't see him leaving that behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did the police tell you as to explain? Did they offer any theory of the case whatsoever to try to find him?
Yes, they gave me not too great of a theory. When I got out there, the detective gave me a briefing. He pointed out to my son's clothing on the ground. He pointed out the vehicle's damage. He said that the vehicle flipped and rolled and landed on the side. He told me that there was no blood found in the vehicle, indicating
Where is Daniel Robinson?
Saturday night, that question on the hearts and minds of Daniel Robinson's family and friends gathered at the state capitol asking for more to be done since the now 25-year-old geologist vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
my son is just not my son. He's also America's son, because this happened to a lot of families.
Since then, his father David organizing search parties hoping to find his son. Volunteers showing up week after week, standing strong with the Robinson family.
Daniel could be any one of us, and so we definitely need to bring awareness to the situation. If we don't speak up for him, and help find him, who will?
Daniel and my son went to the same high school. Felt it was my duty as his neighbor to be here to support him and really try to figure out where Daniel is and bring him home safe.
David's search parties found Daniel's Jeep Renegade rolled over in a ravine, airbags deployed, his clothing found inside out, boots and socks, wallet and laptop, no blood, no signs of injury, no signs of Daniel.
God knows how much we can bear, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
Everybody know that I call them my extended family. And so this visual is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12.
Yeah, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. We're out here to do a candlelight visual on behalf of my son, and also to bring light into other families who are going through similar situations. So thank you. I'm thanking everybody who's out here to support. We need to stand in solidarity to bring attention to this case and to make a statement.
Oh, I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true, I will rescue you.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Thank you, everybody, for coming in this morning. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. My son went missing in Buckeye, Arizona last year, June the 23rd, from his work site. Have been looking for my son since. My family has been looking for my son since. His mother has been wanting to know where he's located since. And I thank you all for everybody who came along to help volunteer and do everything you can to help me do so while I'm here. I'm standing in the gap for my entire family, standing in the gap for my son. And like I said, I'm really happy and grateful that you all thought enough to help also since that time. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. He went missing on June 23rd in Buckeye, Arizona's desert. He's a geologist, graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. He graduated with honors. He started his life off here in Phoenix, Arizona. He wanted to come out here to expand his horizons, to start his life, his young life, to get his career going. Also to pursue his dreams. He wanted to go into entrepreneurship, to traveling abroad, to doing, you name it. Daniel have a lot of things. He wanted to be an investor. And before he turned 30, his goal was to be a millionaire. And he came here, decided to, like I said, have Phoenix as his home. He then, since from that point, moved to Tempe. But like I said, he had his job as soon as he got here, working for a company called Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. He worked there as a field geologist. They also call it a hydrogeologist. And what he does for that company is he go out to well sites to check the viability of wells. They check the water levels of the wells. The wells need to produce at least 100 years of water, especially with these communities by law. Most communities have to have those type wells that produce that much water. Also, he checked the water to make sure the water get water sample, rock samples, and soil samples from the bottom of the well to determine if those waters are good to drink. Also, that morning on June 23rd, he went to two well sites. He assigned two well sites. Being a field geologist, his job is not to go inside to the company. His company is in Phoenix. He have a work computer where he get his assignments. He also gets assignments online. He doesn't know where he's going. They send him information. He gets a phone call. So no workers, no coworkers, anybody will see him other than him making it out to these sites where he met one at the second well site that he went to. He ended up missing. He met one worker there from a company called Weber. That worker met my son on Sun Valley Parkway near the Cactus Road, near the Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road. Outside of a gate, they had a brief conversation where my son followed this worker until the well site. It takes them like a mile or so to go west in the desert, and then they come to a T-junction where they go up almost 2 miles north to get to this well site. Once they arrived at the well site, the story of my son, how he went missing, began. According to the worker, they had that brief conversation about 10 minutes where the weather, rain was coming, where it looked like the rain was coming. It was a cell above. He told me that my son decided that he wanted to close it down for the day. And he S&D didn't want to go back to Phoenix because he wanted to go home to rest. And he wanted to go back to Phoenix. And he told him no, he didn't want to go. He think that cell was going to pass because it wasn't that much. The cell wasn't that big. That he feel like it's going to pass by, and they just waited out. My son then told him that he asked him again about going out, leaving and going towards Phoenix. Also, he said that my son was staring off into the desert and acting kind of odd. He said that my son then at the point waved at him, started walking off towards his vehicle, waved at him, got his vehicle, and drove off, where he was never seen again. This worker decided to, at one point, I'm not sure, but he told me that he decided to go search for my son. He went to go search for him. He noticed that he had tracks because all the other tracks must have been washed away from the rain. He followed my son's tracks on his vehicle. He stayed to the left side of those tracks so he would disturb them. He got to the T-junction. Made sure he stayed to the left because he saw they going out west. Like I said, he stayed to the left of it so he would disturb it, because he said he knew that the police would become looking for my son and that this thing would become big and national. And also he made it to this gate after driving so along that route, made it to a gate where he went inside the gate. He drove another mile or so where he ended up eventually getting out of his vehicle, taking a walk, and he got up on the hill to look out for my son from a distance, see if he could see his vehicle. He then came back down, walk a little farther, got in the vehicle. He started painting rocks with red paint so that the authorities would know where to find his tracks. Again, my son had been missing for almost 30 days. And then they had, in between that time, the Buckeye Police Department said they did 2 searches. One was almost 3 days after my son was missing. They said they did a helicopter search, and they've been on the ground searching the well site. They searched the area where my son was missing. They said they searched a large area spanning over 20 some miles of searching for my son. They had came up empty-handed. They also, a week and a half later after that, did a search with Civil Air Patrol. Civil Air Patrol, they did that on July 9th. And when they did the Civil Air Patrol, they covered areas really far, about the same amount of areas from the well site, and they came up empty-handed. They used fixed-wing aircraft to fly above. To supposedly did 2 double flyovers, but I was there to watch it myself. They did 1 flyby, and they didn't find anything. Again, almost like I said, almost a month later, my son's vehicle showed up here, and there's a ravine. It showed up the way it is. You see it behind me on this banner behind me. My son's clothing was 3 feet away from that vehicle in a pile. And another foot away north is the safety vest that you see there. And southeast on the side, about a foot or two, a few feet away, you'll see a boot. And also one boot was tucked under the front end of the vehicle. This vehicle was found by a rancher who found it on July the 19th. He said, according to the rancher, he was puzzled because he was just there 2 to 3 days prior and the vehicle wasn't there. He was out there because he's a rancher. He's a 4th generation rancher. He is corralling his cattle all over the desert, get them all to come down to that one corral where he knows that his cattle always travel this ravine. This ravine goes down south towards the Hassayampa River, Wagner Wash, and there's a corral. If you go down, if you use to walk straight down the side where the wheels are facing, you keep going straight down that ravine, it will lead you to that corral where the cattle congregate. He wanted to get them inside that corral to, of course, do what they do with those cattle. But like he said, the vehicle wasn't there. His cattle would have stopped there, would have been messing around with clothing to everything else. He explained a lot of reasons why, to back his story up, why cattle would come down there. Also, he said there wasn't no significant rain that day. My son was missing. Far he remember, I checked the weather myself. There wasn't no significant rain, and he backed that up. Mr. Robinson, if there was significant rain, there would have been a lot of water running down this ravine, and it would. A lot of water be running through there, and right there under the vehicle, a lot of debris would have got stuck there. It would have got stuck there, and that proves you that vehicle wasn't there because the debris didn't collect there. It's common sense. And so, of course, I hit to hear the theory of the police department, who says that my son did sustain any injury because they didn't physically see any blood in the vehicle, but they believe he had a severe head injury. And with that head injury, he used his strength and he kicked out the sunroof, and that's where he escaped. And because of that head injury, he explained to me in details, causes a person to feel like they're hot, and they strip their clothes off. And that's what my son did, strip his clothes off. He walked off butt naked in the desert out there. I mean, he stripped everything off, underwear. So he even asked me if my son wear boxers or briefs before he told me that. How would I know he's a grown man? He said, well, everything he's wearing is on the ground. He stripped, he walked off in that desert where he must have came under a tree, I was told. He did cool off and rest, and he probably succumbed to his injury or some wild animal got him. Later, the detective told me that maybe after telling me a story about a lady who became a nun, he told me that maybe that's what happened to my son. He said, I'm not necessarily saying it, but probably the son wanted to get away from his family and join a monastery, become a monk. So those are the theories of the Buckeye Police Department that I had to hear. After hearing things like that and after analyzing this picture, I had to get my own private investigator. And after noticing that there was no forensics marking, this picture here is taken from the Buckeye Police Department. There was no forensics markers with the pictures that they gave me. And after eventually they gave me a lot of pictures, everything Chief Hall said they had, minus any helicopter footage, because according to the rancher, there was no helicopter out there. But according to that police report, there was a helicopter out there. But again, if they gave me every picture they say they have, I have yet to get any helicopter footage. I got drone footage, just like the rancher, his testimony matches that. It was just a drone out there. So got all the pictures there and everything I've seen without markers. There's no markers there. There's no markers. I've had it recorded and a witness in a meeting with the Buckeye Police Department, a full meeting, and they admitted that they didn't do any forensic work at that scene because there was no blood found. No, they didn't see any blood in the vehicle. Again, I had to demand them to do some fingerprinting that day. The next day, they did some fingerprinting. To this day, I don't know what those fingerprint resulted in. So again, those are the reasons why I'm out here today. Again, I'm David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, and I'm his father. And I would do what any other father would do in this world, any mother would do in this world, is to find out what happened to their child. I know Daniel is now 25 years old, but he's still a child to me. He's my son, and would do anything I can to make sure that he get the justice and he get the respect that he deserves, regardless of what happened to him. He needs to be found. So I guess you guys are here, and I'm really grateful. I wanted to go into the comment section. Guys, I have to put in my bit first before, and I see something right here. Okay, I will go this way. Thank you, Lois, for being here, and thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Tub883. Thank you for your birthday wishes, and thank you for being here to support me and from the UK. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that coming in to support me and helping search for my son. Thank you, Lisa E. Thank you, y'all, for his birthday stuff. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lisa E., for being here this morning from YouTube and sharing your time with me here in the Q&A. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming off of YouTube, but I really appreciate it this morning. Ashley Taylor, thank you for being here thank you, Benny Keeks. Sent you. Thank you so much for both of you. Thank you for being here this morning. The YouTube, I really appreciate it. Thank you, the Mystery Maven Esquire. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes, and thank you also for being here this morning. Thank you, Yunu, for being here and your work. Good morning to you, and thank you for being a moderator and helping out in everything you do, being passionate about me and my son's case, and helping everywhere you can. I really appreciate all the information that you provide and things like that. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here this morning, and thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your prayers. I definitely need, my family, we definitely need those prayers. So I thank you so much for that. Thank you again, Lisa E., for being here, and thank you for getting that word out for me. Like I said, y'all, please share and subscribe, like this channel. It's very important to get my son's story out there. Make sure that get as far as I can, because like I said again, you never know who heard something, said something, can say something, only if they know what's going on. So again, if you also encourage them, anybody, if they know anything, hit that anonymous or none. They can call this tip line behind me. They can stay anonymous or non-anonymous. That's operated there 24 hours, 7 days a week. They take your call. They will allow you to be anonymous if you like. But if you don't want to talk to anyone, you don't feel comfortable with that, you also can just text the word tip to that number, and it's right there on the bottom of the screen. You text the word tip to that number, and you can still stay anonymous if you like. You have that option to do so. So thank you again, Lisa. Thank you again for being here this morning and helping. Thank you all for being here this morning and help spread that word. So when I hear that, that really helps out a whole lot. I'm really grateful for you taking your time to do that. I'm trying to scroll back down, so I'll make sure I'm missing anyone. Okay, I have here Grammy H. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you being here from the YouTube side. Thank you, Lawrence, for being here this morning and coming out to help from YouTube also. Thank you. You're here in Arizona, and I'm really grateful that you're being here this morning on the Q&A. And we're gonna find Daniel. We all in this together. I really appreciate your thoughts on that. Thank you, Miss Donna Marie Q, I believe it is. Oh, Marie O. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for the well wishes. I really appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you for that. Also, 12-Step Woman. Thank you. Lots of love to you also, and I really appreciate you being out and taking your time to be here this morning. Let's see who else I got here. Tub. Thank you for being here. 12-Step Woman again. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Gwen, for being here. I really appreciate everything you do. You know everything. Thank you for putting that up. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. That's the way it gets out there, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gwen, again. For all your hard work and everything you do in the background for me. And I love you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gisela, for being here this morning. And thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. From Gisela K from Grizzly True Crime. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the hard work and the efforts that you do and help me in the background and teaching me a lot of things. I learned a lot from you. Very brilliant, smart lady. I'm really grateful for that. Also, Lawrence, again, thank you for being here this morning. If I say your name multiple times, that's because I'm going out timeline, and sometimes, I end up getting the same person. But I'm really grateful for y'all. Y'all make sure I'm not missing anybody. I'm grateful for everybody who's out here in the chat, who's here to support. I'm really grateful for you. Also, thank you, Azazing. If I say your name incorrectly, I apologize, but thank you so much for being here, and you being here from YouTube, supporting the Q&A. I really appreciate it. Selah, thank you for being here this morning and helping me out here by spreading awareness for my son. So thank you again for being here. Again, my name is Dave Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing on June 23rd. I'm here doing a Q&A for everybody who have questions. If you guys have questions, please put the word question there first, followed by your question. That help me look down the comment section and get your questions. Also, you can put the capital letter Q, or if you know how to put that big red question mark, you can also do that also, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Sophia, for being here this morning. Thank you for, that's right. And thank you for being part of the A team. I really appreciate it. For you all being here in the chat and helping out. I mean, everywhere that you do. And thank you for the birthday wishes. I know I'm going to hear a lot of that today in our conversation. So thank you so much for being here this morning. Also, 12-step woman, thank you so much for being here. Again, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you coming out every morning. Also, thank you, Barry, for being here, for all your hard work and everything you do. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful for everything. So God bless you. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Pamela Dabb, thank you for being here. Good morning from Alabama. Got Alabama in the house. I really appreciate it, that you're coming out again this morning to share your time here on the Q&A. Lawrence, okay, I believe I said it before, but thank you again for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. I'm always forever grateful. Okay, you got S. Modern. Thank you for being here. Good morning to you, and thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate those prayers. I need each and every one of them. And Gisela, thank you again for putting that up. Please help find Daniel.com. If you guys need to know anything about this case, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. There you'll learn about how you can help, whether it's the tip line, whether it's the signing the petition, to donating, to learning how you can do the searches, to helping in other ways, find out other ways you can help, because I do have an upcoming foundation. And also, if you all want to be able to print out your own flyers, because we have flyers and things like that, PDF there on that site. It's all kinds of things. So you go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and you can get all that information there. Again, thank you so much for that, Gisela, and also for you new. And make sure everybody, hey, that tip line is there for a reason. You know, say if you see something, you hear something, remember something, just say something. You know, he's a missing young man. He's my son. He's missing. And a lot of times, I know we have a lot of communities don't believe it. They kept this thing about snitching or telling. That's what anonymous tip line is for. I feel that, you know, hey, if it's the other way around, somebody asks me, yeah, if it's a crime going on and you do it around me, just know I would snitch, you know. So if you want to call it snitching, I'm not going to hover anything for a criminal. So, you know, I'm not saying somebody did something like that or it's a criminal thing, but I'm saying if you know something and you can help somebody, it's always good to, help that family out or help that person out. And to be truthful, I always learn the truth will make you free. And, so the truth will help. So it helped me and my family locate my son. If you guys know anything, please say something. Thank you so much for that. All right. Thank you also, Cheryl Ray, for being here this morning, AKA co-worker. Okay. Thank you so much. And it's a lot of, the co-worker, the guy at the well site. Yes, I agree. There should be more done on that front. So thank you so much, Cheryl, for being here this morning. Esther Levy, thank you. I really appreciate it for everything. And, you know, I can tell you, I think I did a live the other day. I didn't get to save it, but I would do it again. I would take y'all through some runs of those stories out there in the desert. and in the future, so you guys can kind of get a really good idea of how the story supposedly had played out, and then you can use your common sense. I did take some pictures of those tracks, and I can tell you, we had significant rain recently, and none of those tracks ever get washed away. There's tracks still right here at the scene where my son's vehicle was found. As you can still see the tracks of the tow truck. You got tracks of the vehicles that we use. We go out through that area. You got even boot prints that we do when we travel down this little ravine. So when they hear the story of these cops and a gentleman at the well, the worker at the well says that something being washed away because of rain, that's far from true. It's not true in every case, because I see the same tracks. I was just out there the other day, and I know we haven't been doing the searches in that area, and we still have the same tracks that I see every week when I was doing them weekly out there that haven't been washed away. And we had significant rain, a monsoon last year, and those tracks are still there. So I question things like that. So thank you for making that comment. Thank you, D-Love, for being here this morning, sharing your time on this Q&A. I really appreciate it. You guys bear with me. I've been having some little time mess with. Even this morning, I cut off the introduction when I had the introduction on at the beginning. You guys, so you saw it go off for a second. That's because I hit the wrong button. I thought I lost the whole feed, and I was able to get back. And I'm really grateful that I didn't lose you all on that point. So thank you so much, and thank you again to for the birthday wishes. I see that, and I thank you, Amber, for being here this morning. First of all, for you too, thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Also, Shelly, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for birthday wishes. Thank you all for being here to support my cause for Daniel. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Pamela Dabbs, for being here. And I do have my first question here, and I thank you, Lois, for coming out again this morning from North Carolina. Lois Strickland, thank you for being here, and thank you for questioning. Any new updates from Saturday's search? Well, didn't get any new updates. The only thing I have gotten out of that is the fact that, like I told you just a while ago, I went out there and I did do a live. It didn't stay on the YouTube like I wish it had. I did a really long, extensive live. I didn't intend to. Just wanted to pretty much let you guys know about the searches. The searches, what I will say, will be at 6:45 every morning on the search mornings from now on. It will not be at 7:45. So everybody need to be aware of the time change. And that was the biggest thing. I got it right here on the bottom of the screen. This operation search will be April the 16th, and that'll be at 6:45. So everybody's, because it had a big confusion. Some reason the website didn't update, and I need to update it today. I have usually do it on Sundays. So if you go on the website now, it's not updated, but it will be updated later today, because I'll go ahead and update now. I meant to do it yesterday, but had some things going on. I couldn't even get on the site yesterday. But yes, it should say 6:45. I will make sure the website reflect on that. Again, I was just doing a live to discuss that, and I kind of went off, and it's something that dawned on me about a lot of that story. And so I had to make sure that I correct, so everybody could kind of see why I feel that those stories do not make sense, you know. And so I can let you all judge that for yourself by taking you through a run from that well site, and and so on and so on, and then tell you the story the way the man told me the story, and how it matches everything that leads up to this area where my son's vehicle was found. Again, thank you for the question on that, Lois, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Grammy H, for being here. And his phone was located with the vehicle. And it's right here at the scene where Buckeye, where the rancher found it. The phone was inside his vehicle. I can tell you that phone was ringing for over a day, almost a full day, a little over a full day. We were constantly calling that phone. It's ringing, and then go to voicemail. And then after a certain time, like I said, several hours later, it finally, the battery died. So obviously, because then it started going straight to voicemail. So, but it was found on us inside the vehicle on the scene. So, but I have since have all of that stuff. It was given over to me by the Buckeye Police Department, because they said they didn't have a case. They had no investigation. and they exhausted all their leads. When they turned this vehicle over to me, vehicle was found on the 19th. They turned the vehicle over to me on the 20th, and then a few days after that, when I had the meeting with the entire department, that's when they gave me everything that you see on the scene, the cell phone to whatever they collect off the scene. I still have it to this day. Thank you, Shauna, for being here and then being part of the A team. I really appreciate you for being here this morning, and really appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys have questions, please put the big capital letter Q there, or the word question, or like she have there, that big red question mark. That'll help me see your questions before as I'm coming down the time comment section, because I would possibly miss the question. It would be by on purpose, but I may end up missing that. So that'll help me know that you have a question, and then I would respond to your question. So thanks so much, Shauna, for putting that out. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Karen Lee, for being here this morning, and thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate that for you being here this morning. Thank you again, Super Cooper. Thank you for being here this morning from the YouTube, coming out to support and help. If you guys can hit that share, like, and subscribe button, that really helps. Also, get the algorithm to get this channel out there, because I need to spread my son's story out there as far as I can get it. Also, thank you, Blue and Gold, for being here this morning, and thank you for thank you for subscribing, and thank you also for spreading the word. I really appreciate that. That really makes a big difference. And I really appreciate that's what I call effort, to help us go along and keep going. So I really appreciate that, and thank you again. Also, D Love and Faith Christian, thank you so much for being here this morning off of YouTube, and thank you for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. Prayers to you and your family. Thank you for the prayers. I really appreciate your prayers. Like I said, I believe in prayer. I believe totally in prayer, and I know prayer is a key that God gives us a tool to be able to talk straight to Him directly, to make intercessions, and also give the desire of our hearts. And my desire is to find my son, and I know that God will see to it. And I'm gonna keep the faith. A lot of times, we kind of try to rush things. It's hard. It's hard. Every day is hard for me and my family. It's hard to have to go every day, and Daniel's still missing. You got to constantly live it every day over and over again. But it's a time and place. God don't put more on you than you can bear. It's time and place that things happen, but you got to have faith, and you with your faith, you got to put some action behind it. You cannot fold your hands and stay at home and just pray and believe God's going to bring them back. Life do not work that way, and the Bible do not teach you to do things like that. That's a religion. Religion teach you to do stuff like that, but God do not. He will have you to do things by faith and action. There have not been anyone who have achieved or accomplished anything without moving. So you have to put some action behind your faith, and that's the way things work. As you learning, I'm learning a lot since I've been here. I've been out here, like I said, since June 26th, searching for my son. I'm a novice. Nobody's an expert when they have a missing person that they love and their family member, but you learn more and more as you go. I'm not perfect at this, but I'm trying my best. I'm giving everything I can to try to keep my son's name out there, try to continue the searches, and try to get information, and also to how I can best help other people who's going through something similar to what me and my family are going through. So that's the name of this game, and I'm pushing hard for every aspect of that. Also, thank you, you knew again, for putting that up. Like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate you being here and working. Also, the tip line that you put up there to remind people. Thank you so much for that. If you guys can use that tip line, it's always stay behind me. That's why I try to stay to the side over here, so you guys can always see this banner behind me. The tip line is always up there. Also, thank you, She Rose Nation, for being here this morning to join in on Q&A. Also, I think I have everybody that's good morning to. And I don't see any questions right now, but thank you, Gisela. I want to say this real quick. Okay, petition started. Stats. Okay, you got 108,205 have signed so far, and like I said, we are going up to that next goal. It's 150,000 signatures, and I really appreciate it, Gisela, for putting that up. One of the most important things about that petition, we don't want to neglect that. I have yet to update some information on that, and I will do it. I keep saying I will do it. Every time I get around to try to do it, something else come up and I get distracted, or I have to go take care of something else. But those reasons for that at the beginning when I first started that petition, I remember I had only 10 signatures on there, trying to get it up to 50 and try to get up to 100. And one of those things was to put pressure on the Buckeye Police Department to do more. I was struggling to get them to do anything. I was struggling to get them to find out, get the pings. We can't forget all of this stuff, y'all. You can't forget all the stuff, and don't y'all ever forget it. I don't care what they put in a report to try to make themselves look like they did something. We got to remember they have not done any pings on the find out where my son ping data from that cell phone. We haven't gotten anything from the Uconnect off his vehicle. We have not gotten any so-called pictures on roads. I keep mentioning this over and over again. I ride around Phoenix area, Tempe, wherever, you name it. You go to these major roads, there's cameras everywhere. And we all know that. You can go down your street now, wherever you live, whatever state you live in, you go in a major intersection, you will see cameras that record us all the time. Just because we don't see those cameras, we don't pay attention. You go on those corners, you see those little cameras sitting up on the stoplights, and they record us all the time. City, the government, they all know that somebody was to rob a bank today, 9 times out of 10, they can track that person to a location. So they use those cameras. However, some kind of way magically, according to the Buckeye Police Department, they have no footage of my son ever. Since he's been living here in Arizona, they only had one footage of him ever driving on the road, and that's when he was going to see his sisters in California. He was out on the interstate somewhere on the way up to California. Now, that's a magically, and I always be funny by saying this, it's true. Unless he had a cloaking device on his vehicle, it's impossible for them to say that. But they say it. Also, the footage on if they're doing detective work, they should immediately got footage from the gas station. They should have footage from the Waffle House. They should have footage from, you name it, some places that they say my son was at days before or during the whatever time for that morning. So they claim to have footage from the gas station. I have yet to see that. They told me they had footage from that Waffle House. Oh, I've seen it, but not the footage from the Waffle House that they claimed the video. They gave me still pictures. They took, had a video as it planned, I guess, and take pictures of it or screenshots, whatever it did, and gave me that. And how disrespectful that is. It's something they don't want me to see in that. But I could tell you, I'm glad they did that because it gave me a leadway to some other information that I need. So why they did that, I don't know. But you know what? It's a lot of things that's been hidden in this case. So again, I'm here as a father, working really hard, trying to find information about my son and find out his location and what happened to him. That's my job as a father. I would love to have the law enforcement to work with me at the beginning, but like I tell you, when somebody started giving me BS and all that stuff, we quickly become separate. You know what I'm saying? We didn't separate. Buckeye Police and I was trying to work with these people for a while. They turned their back when my investigator at the time, he's an accident reconstructionist, and also that's what he does. He's an accident reconstructionist. He's the specialist in that. He's not, and I can say he's not specializes in anything else but that. He was a traffic cop, and that's what he know. He know things about the vehicle crime and things like that. Other than that, outside of that, that's why I have a different investigator now, because he don't specialize in anything else. So he don't have any kind of knowing about anything other than things dealing with traffic. But he did know about what happened to the vehicle by looking at it. You see the damage on it. He found the damage and the transfer paint, and that the vehicle did not crash there from the data. He knew how to read that data. And also, but anyway, everything he found, but he did find a sock. He said that was a few 100 feet, not too far from that well site that belongs to a sock in the evidence bag that Buckeye turned over to me. So he did find that, and that's by coming to one of my searches. He was able to find that, but that's something he collected and was able to put together. But like, again, I say he do not specialize in that kind of work. He specializes in accident reconstruction. That's his job. That's his job title. Like I said, when he's a police officer, that's he was. He was a traffic cop, pretty much. He a motorcycle cop, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? So he don't do anything else. So other than that, but he do have a team of people that he hired on his company that should be able to do things like that. You know, so I met a couple of them, but they wasn't working my son's case. I rarely ever see them doing anything or out there at all in the desert. So I want to mention that. But at the same time, yeah, he's at the reconstruction. We turned all that stuff in where it was found by the vehicle, and the Buckeye Police Department from that point shut down. They didn't want to talk to me anymore. They stopped. They just wanted to keep that narrative going that they want to say that my son did all of this to himself on purpose. He cracked that vehicle, took his clothes off, and that he was gone. To try to back up their story, they hired their own. Think about it. They hired a accident reconstruction. They ain't hired no detective outside of themselves. No, they hired an accident reconstructionist that never ever seen this vehicle, never touched it, never physically seen anything on this vehicle, never physically seen the clothing, never seen the transfer paint, nothing. I doubt if he even came out to the scene, but he took these pictures, third-party pictures, and he went out to a dealership to get some answers to bolster the story that the Buckeye Police Department want us to believe about this, what happened to my son on that car, and that's what they put that in the report. But you notice that they didn't put anything in the report from that conflicts what their investigator did. They waited 3 months. Think about this. They waited 3 months after my son. They took that same money that I've been asking for weeks and weeks for them to come out there to help me search for my son and use that money to get the drones that I need because I needed some drones or whatever the case. Use that money to pay they officers to come out there to help me search for my son. Instead of them doing that, they thought enough of themselves to try to bolster their own theory, try to bolster it up. So that's the reason why I don't have a relationship with that department, and that's the reason why I'm asking you guys, if you do call the Buckeye Police Department, to please demand them to bring someone else in. I lost confidence in them a long time ago. I wouldn't trust or believe anything they come up with. So, so thank you if you guys can do that. Also, thank you, Wanda Stevens, for being here. Stevie's for being here this morning. And thank you for your birthday wishes. I'm really grateful that you came out. I do have a question here from D Love. Thank you, D Love, for your question. Mr. Robinson, did you make a video from this week's weekend search? I didn't make a video of the search itself. I do have some drone footage. I ain't no crashing my drone, by the way. This is fine. I just need to replace the repellers. I have those. I just didn't have time to do it yet. But yeah, I do have some drone footage of the searches. Of course, I use a drone to be able to go back later, do a kind of aerial search in a sense, much as I can, and also to kind of go forward before the volunteers and be able to determine what's ahead of us as we're walking, little different things like that. So, and then also get a kind of idea of the whole surrounding area, or where possibly we need to search next time, or things like that, or where we didn't search, and kind of get a better idea from the air. But I did get some drone footage. But I said once the volunteers left the area, I stayed back, and I was able to try to do a couple lives. Had some things I had to take care of while I was out there. And while I was out there, like I said, I ended up doing a live to kind of walk everybody through that story that we're supposed to believe from the worker who last saw my son. So thank you, Shiro's Nation, again, for being here this morning. Thank you for your birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. And thank you, D-Love, again, for that question. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lawrence, again, for being here this morning. If you guys have a question, D-Love, if you have a question here, just put the word question like D-Love do here, then followed by your question, and then I can get to it. Question, Mr. Robinson, how was the other tire tracks washed away except for Daniel's? And that's a good question. According to him, I guess it must have stopped raining. I mean, he didn't literally say that, but I'm assuming that if he's saying, hey, it was raining while my son was there, if you think about it, he didn't ever say it was raining when my son was there. His story is that the sail was coming and it was about to rain, and he felt like the sail was going to go over, so they didn't have to leave, right? That's the story he gave me. So I don't know, once my son drove away, it started raining, or it's raining while they were standing there, you know what I'm saying? And he's saying, he's claiming now in 10 minutes. So you got to think about this. It wasn't raining when they got there, obviously, because they didn't mention about no rain at all. Once he got there, and they only been there for 10 minutes, all this happened in 10 minutes, right? So he's telling me that within that 10 minutes, they had this conversation about whatever, and they had a conversation about the sale coming over, and it started, let's pretend, it started raining, right? Started raining, my son got in the vehicle, waved off, and drove. Like you said, while his tracks wasn't washed, if his tracks could be washed away in 10 minutes, while his tracks was the only one that survived. Okay, and then within that 10 minutes, like I said, he somehow later decided to go look for Daniel. Like you said, so he waited several hours, and then it was already raining with Daniel tracks, because he already gone. His tracks would have been washed away too, right? It didn't make sense. And I can tell you guys, I've said over and over again, when I did the live video, which I'm going to end up doing again, I can show you tracks that have been there for months. And it's been raining. We had a monsoon season last year here. And I mean, when I say it's pouring down rain, it's pouring down. And those tracks are still there. So I don't understand how this Buckeye Police Department claiming they did a job trying to locate my son, and then they listen to one man's story, a worker, and then vet it. Don't vet the story at all. Now, don't break that story down. Just something simple. According to my son's phone, I can't say it was him. According to his phone, there's a lot of information I know. Let's say my son was there at the well, and he says, "Yeah, your son said he was sleepy and tired." This whole sleepy and tired thing, like there's something wrong with a person saying they're tired. There's something wrong with them. They say, "Hey, man, you know, I'm tired. You want to go home and sleep or something? You want to go sleep?" Whatever he said to the man. Like something's wrong with that. They did a little bit of homework, and I'm telling you, that's why sloppy the Buckeye Police Department work done, in my opinion, because they didn't really do anything they said what they put in their report, because they did any kind of work, any kind of detective work. They really wanted to find my son, just like they told me eventually when his vehicle was found, there was no leaves to follow, they ain't got nothing else, and this and that, because they didn't do nothing. They don't want to look for nothing else. They didn't go check to see about that phone, because that phone would have told them that he's been working all night the day before. So if you know, they would have did just a little bit of work, they would have realized that. Just think about that. They would look at the trash, just like you said. If it was a person like yourself, D-Love, that could ask a question like that, that means that you're using your mind and using your brain. But you got these guys that say they're professionals. That's what they do for a living, and they didn't give a damn, in my opinion. Excuse my expression. They didn't care to look. They didn't care to ask those type of questions that you're asking. Because to me, when you go walk that story, like I did the other day, nothing he says makes sense. It don't add up. So when it don't add up, that's when you start asking questions. He's the last man that supposedly has seen my son. And so that's the last person. I have one officer from a different department out there somewhere in another state. You know, I hear officers call me all the time from different states apologizing for what Buckeye is doing. They never seen the police department do the things they do and how they handled this case so far. They feel embarrassed, and why they apologizing to me for another department. That guy should have been held until they can get answers to what happened to my son. So that's their opinion, and I don't know about police work, but that's how they feel. And I heard it from multiple officers who would have been holding him until they figure this thing out. But again, they're refusing to make it any kind of criminal case. They're refusing to even look at it as a criminal case. They want, for some reason, really hard to make sure it stays as just a missing person case. They do not want to go to another level. The reason why, as long as they can keep him as a missing person, that's it. And he did this to himself. He planned all this out, and he just out there somewhere living his best life. The reason why they wanted to stay that way, because that means they don't legally have to spend a dime on my son. They put all the fine words in their report, make themselves look good and dress up good, but legally they don't have to do anything for my son. And that's the reason why I'm pushing really hard for them to investigate, to really do an investigation. And you got to think about all the word games I'm saying they playing. If you was investigating something, would you think they would have this vehicle? You would think they would have had the clothing. They would have had all of that, right? They would have done the forensic work on the scene. They would have done forensic work on the vehicle right now, and all this kind of stuff they would have had done. They wasn't investigating nothing. I mean, so don't be fooled by what a report says because they didn't investigate nothing, anything. They ain't investigating at all. They can say it till their face turn blue. Well, we're investigating. They're not investigating nothing. How you going to investigate anything without evidence, without anything, without the stuff that you had in your possession and you gave it over to the father the very next day that it was found? I mean, how is that? How's that investigating? No, you thought you was gonna give me my son's stuff, and that I was gonna hightail it on back back to South Carolina, but he was wrong. They was wrong about that. They thought that was going to happen and it didn't happen. Thank you also, Carolina SC, for being here this morning. Thank you for your birthday wishes, and thank you for being the Grizzly. I really love the Grizzlies, and I really appreciate you being here this morning. I appreciate it. Also, let's see, Grandma H, here's a question. Thank you so much for being here, Grandma H. And your questions. So basically, they did not do any investigation if they gave the vehicle back in one day. And that's exactly. Like I'm saying, sometimes people, and I tell this to families all the time that I speak to. There's nothing wrong with questioning the police. First of all, you're the police. They work for you. They work for us. They receive a paycheck from our tax money. The chief of police, whoever they are, FBI, all of them. They work for us. We're their boss. And it's okay for you as a citizen, using your tax money to question, especially when it got something to do with your loved one. I'm telling you, you better question everything. You question what they say. You question what they do. Because a person, I'm not that person. I used this a long time ago. I would not have been in South Carolina, sitting back in another state, calling the Buckeye Police Department every day because I'm so concerned and hurt that my son is missing. And I called it, yeah, can I speak to Chief Hall or whoever, or Detective Biffin, and say, hey, have y'all find anything about my son today? And they're like, yeah, I'm out here right now looking for your son, sitting back in the chair with his arm folded. Yeah, I'm right here right now. We don't have anything right now. You know, I don't go for that. I don't go for that unless I actually physically see you doing stuff. I'm involved in finding my person, and you have to be involved. You cannot sit back and, like some suggested to me, that you should sit back and wait on God and pray and whatever you got to do that for yourself. But you know what? You need to put some action to it. And if you really want that department to treat your person's case like they should, stay on top of them. You're their supervisor, you're their boss, and you need to make sure they're doing their job, because they'll tell you things like what Grandma H had to ask a question. So basically, they did not do any investigation if they gave the vehicle back in one day. Common sense, right? How you can do an investigation if the vehicle's found on the 19th, you out there searching, you claiming, for over 12 or whatever hours that is, right? You have no forensics mark on the scene. You did nothing on the scene, nothing. And then the next day you get a vehicle, this whole thing everything on the scene, you give it to the family the next day, and then a couple days after that, the rest of the things, with no kind of forensic work from that point, right? Period, to this day, other than the fingerprinting that the family requested when you was trying to get the clothes away that day. They ain't say, well, we're gonna hold his clothes and do some forensic work on it. No, they gave it back to me. It was marked for safekeeping. And they have evidence check box. They didn't check the evidence box. They checked for safekeeping, meaning that, and I learned that from my investigator, who's an ex-cop, whenever they check that box for safekeeping, they're saying that Daniel was going to come back and grab his things. We was holding it for him to get it. But since you're family, we're going to give it to you to give to your son when he gets back. So they're looking at it. He's coming back. After looking at all of that, they've been on the scene. They're saying Daniel was coming back to grab his things. It's been 9 months now. He's coming back to get his things. He did all of that for whatever reason. Nothing to look at, nothing to see here. Here's your stuff. Here's the vehicle. Here's this. There's nothing else. They even came on their own, and it's still there. I got copies of that. It came on their own Facebook thing and said, we have no more leads to follow. They told the local news here that. Local news still have copies of that. And then they deleted it because they realized they got caught on what they were saying. They can't take that back. You can delete all you want to and never really delete it. So they deleted that. So I'm saying the whole point is that's the questions you guys have to ask yourself, with the reason why I'm justified in asking this department not to handle my son's case ever again. They need to bring somebody else in outside of this department because of that. They're not capable and they're not able to do this and do an investigation. They haven't even started an investigation. I don't care what word they can use, investigation word all they want to, a million times over, and it won't mean they're doing investigation. It's impossible for them to be doing investigation without things like that. So again, also D-Love, thank you for your question. Mr. Rossman, I didn't know if you already mentioned, I apologize, but have mentioned when we are entering a fast and prayer. I was copy and pasting sometimes the bio part of this Q&A, and I did it from that other Q&A when I was introducing the fast and prayer. But my team and I, we talked about doing it every, I forgot what day it was. We planning on, but it's going to be trying to do it every anniversary of if my son continued to be missing, that Wednesday to the anniversary of him he went missing on 23rd. So closer to this month, I think whatever the Wednesday is, closer to the 23rd of this month, we'll be doing another fast and prayer. Personally, I do of course, fasting and prayer. But me personally, I believe in fasting in a different way, and I do believe in collective prayer and fasting. That's really powerful too. When everybody doing a fasting and prayer in unity, bringing strength, and we all petitioning God together. That's a lot of answers come from that. But also, I do personal prayer and fasting amongst myself, where nobody knows. And the reasons why is because sometimes you have to fast and pray on your own, and that's between you and God. So those things, those type of prayer and fasting for myself are between me and God. But the public prayer and fasting will be, like I said, around the 23rd of each month now, on that Wednesday that's close to it. I forgot what Wednesday that is. I know my team probably gonna put it in the chat, and then I can put it up on the screen. But it's the Wednesday that's coming up near the 23rd. We'll be doing that again, and I'll be posting that and asking you all to, saying join in with us. So thank you. Also, blessings to all. Thank you for praying for me and my family. I really appreciate the prayers. We really need it. Nice looking dog there on your profile thing. But thank you so much for your prayer and everything. I really appreciate that. Thank you, New, for putting that up. Tip line. If you see something, hear something, remember something, say something. And please, if you can, please do that. I really appreciate it if you can. Jackie Angelica for being here this morning. Good morning to you. Coming in off of YouTube. I really appreciate it that you spend your time in the truck. Thank you for being here this morning. Also, for being here this morning, being a part of this Q&A. Sophia, there you go. I knew it was coming. Thank you so much, Sophia. For being here this morning and helping out. Thank you for being part of the 18 and helping out. Fasting prayer for Daniel. It's going to be on April the 20th. So if you guys are asking questions now, it'll be April the 20th when we're doing that. Oh, Shauna, thank you for putting that up there also. 18, I knew y'all was going to come up with it and help me out. I really appreciate that. Yes, April 20th, it would be there. So you guys can join in on that fasting prayer. I really appreciate that. So we will be doing that then, and we're going to stand in unity, and we're going to bring some strength and some faith and everything else, and it don't hurt. I don't know how many people don't believe in fasting prayer, but I can tell you this, it don't hurt nobody. Fasting and prayer do not hurt anyone. It also helps your body, it helps you, it helps your mind, and things like that too. So there's a lot of advantages that come out of fasting and prayer. But the most part is you petitioning God for those who have faith or in the faith. We petitioning God for something you want, and we all want one common thing, and that's to find Daniel. And also, we want to bring some awareness to other families, and that's for God. He's a big God, and I believe that He can handle all of that at one time. There's other families that are going through the same exact thing as me and my family are going through, and we're looking out for them also in our fasting and prayer. So. Thank you all for joining in with that. Again, thank you. If you guys can like, share, subscribe, I really appreciate it. I can, say like, share. I can get this channel out and love Father. So thank you. Esther Levy, thank you for being here this morning. Hopefully the FBI are looking into things in the background. One thing I learned about the FBI, they would not be working in the background without letting me know as a family. I have never gotten any indication, any kind of reach out or anything that they're even looking into my son's case. All thing I heard is something from Dateline. Dateline, I did a lot of filming with them, and they went to the FBI at the time, and they saying they was going to look into it, just look. So, but they're not going to join in on the case. They haven't joined on the case up to yet. So, I don't know. Like I said, but if they did, they would reach out to a family, and that would have been me. So, I'm his father, and I'm the only one here on the ground. So, other than my daughter, but I'm the only one actively on the ground searching for my son. So, all right, thank you. All right, I have a question here from Minnie Trot. Did they DNA test the sock? No. At this point, there was no DNA testing done on anything concerning my son, and that's a shame. And that's why I asked you guys again with the. And, I always try to skip over it because I hate talk about it. Always constantly asking for funding, but I need it. You know what I'm saying? My searches are going down to a point where, like I said, once every week, once every 2 weeks. And then also it started, goes down to that point now. It was every week, but we stopped utilizing the UTV, ATVs, all the things I need out there. Expensive. It was expensive, and it took a lot of funding to keep these searches going for all these almost 9 months of searching. And it took thousands and thousands of dollars. To constantly keep those things going and to continue doing everything outside of the desert that I'm doing in the efforts to find my son. But it's hard for me to keep asking for funding. And I think people look at the GoFundMe and see how much being collected at this point. It takes a lot of funding. It takes a lot to keep things rolling that I'm doing. But I can use an example. Just past Saturday, we had, I hope it's not a problem me saying this, but we had one volunteer that we believe had got heat exhaustion. She got a little, a little lightheaded and a little weak and things like that. So we was able to get her out of there, and get her. The blessing is we keep a medic on our makeshift command center. We used to have a command center. My logistics coordinator, we don't have it up there anymore, a tent and things like that. But I'm gonna work on getting that back up again. But we do have a medic personnel. She's a nurse too. That's on the scene. And so she was able to get there. We was able to get her there, but I had to use a van. I used a van. That van is not made for that terrain. I didn't have a pickup truck at the time because the U-Haul didn't have the truck available, but I was able to have a van. But I'm saying, the point I'm making is we needed those equipment that I normally get out there, that I have out there. And that's for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons is things like that. Something happened with the volunteers. We need to be able to move them across that terrain. The terrain is really rugged, and vehicles didn't go. To make a long story short, I did get her in a van to get her to the medic, try to get her to the medic, but we got stuck. We got stuck and had to get pulled out of that dirt because those vehicles not made. That's why we ask people, hey, you got UTV, ATV, 4x4 type vehicles. We need you out there because a lot of areas, a regular vehicle would not be able to handle that terrain. That sink down in the dirt and things like that. You have problems. So that's what happened. But God bless that. Even with that happening, she was able to cool off while I was trying to get her out of being stuck. She was able to get that seat in the AC to get herself cool off, and I was able to get her to the medic. But had I had to raise her, I would have been able to put her in that front seat, and she would have been to the medic within a minute or two. So it would have been a lot faster. It would have got her across that terrain easily and get her to get the help that she needed quickly. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really saddened the fact that I had to break the searches down just to keep everything else going. You know what I'm saying? I had to make choices out of keeping the searches going, which I really need, keeping the distribution part going out that I really need, keeping the word out there, and also remaining here in Arizona to fight for my son. So all of that comes together. Reason why I constantly have to ask for funding and to keep things going. So right now, that's what I asked. So if you guys want to understand that reasoning, that's the reason why. And then to put in perspective, I think it was Gisela K gave me a perspective of how much money was spent in one day when they took care of other cases, when they go looking for a murderer, just for one day. And you see how much I collected up this far, you'll be amazed that I was able to spread that out into 9 months, and that is amazing. When it take them to spend that kind of money in 1 or 2 days that I have collected so far. So it takes a lot. It takes a lot of resources. Thank you also, Lawrence Jesima, for being here this morning. The question is, okay, question. Loves air footage. Bear loves air footage. Okay, I don't know if that's a question, but thank you so much for that. Yes. We got to have both air footage and everything else. So thank you so much. Maybe I'm reading that question wrong. If you can kind of clarify that question, and then I can do that. So thank you, blessings to all. Thank you again. I really appreciate you being here this morning. Again, thank you. And if you guys have any questions, yes, I think I have one here. Question: Did they DNA test the sock? No, like this again. I think I already had that question before, but again, no, they didn't do any testing on anything. Only thing they did was fingerprinting that I requested. So y'all read that in the report. They didn't even have so much as decency to say, well, the father. Well, they can't say that because then they're making it like they didn't do nothing, which they didn't. But yeah, I requested. You see it say, oh, they did fingerprint. Don't think they did it because, oh man, we was doing our job. No, they did it because it was under my request for fingerprinting. Because if I didn't request that, they weren't gonna do that at all. I told you they gave me everything back. I would have had that vehicle out of there because I asked them to hold it for 3. They beg them for 3 days. They gave me 3 days, but because of that, I was able to secure that, and that 3 days secure that meeting, which in turn let them hold it a little longer for me to get the fingerprinting done, and then I was able to tow it out of there, get it towed out of there. By the time I had my private investigator and had it towed out of there. So that's how that timeline went. D-Love question, Mr. Robinson, is there any way you can obtain a weather report for that week? I do already have a weather report for that week. And like I told you guys, according to that report, it wasn't any significant rain at all. So I doubt if it even rained for 5 minutes the way the percentage was. I think it was really low, for like a 10% or some type of percentage, if I remember correctly. When I look at it again, but I remember it being like 10 or 12%, somewhere around there of rain. And then according to the rancher, his story, it didn't rain like that day. So he lived out there. So there's a lot of that kind of talk. Matter of fact, that was before the monsoon season. We all know here in Arizona, there's barely any rain. I've been here for get ready to go on a year, believe it or not. And I probably, if it was outside of a monsoon season, I literally, since I could use example, since October last year, October, November, I've seen it rain probably once or about twice, about 2 times now. And when it rained, it literally rained for 2 minutes, if that. But then when it rained, I don't really call it rain because it's like a little drizzle and it stops. So that's how it is in Arizona. You don't see rain. I'm amazed how plants and everything survive, but those are desert plants and stuff. But they don't have rain here, so like that, and especially in certain areas like Buckeye and here in Phoenix. You may go up north and you may get more rain coverage, but not here in these areas. Also, tip line. You guys have got a tip line again behind me. Also, like, share, subscribe to the channel. And I do have a question here from Lois. Thank you, Lois, for your question. Do you believe Daniel was driving his Jeep when it was wrecked? No, I really don't believe he was driving that Jeep when it was wrecked. That's the reason why I asked in that meeting, how did they know Daniel was driving? How do you know my son was driving? And the answer was literally, I'm not making this up. It's there. I got the answer to that question. They say, oh, he obviously driving his vehicle. Now, what kind of answer is that? And this whole police department, all sitting at this long table together, and you give me that kind of answer. That's the kind of things when they say things like that to me, I think they think I'm a very unintelligent man. You know what I'm saying? But they're mistaken. You know what I'm saying? All my children are scientists. My major in computer engineering, I was going to be a scientist. I didn't complete it, but that's how our brain is. We're brilliant people. We're not stupid. We use our common sense. So I don't know what their thinking is, but they could say anything to me. At the time, they could. I was in an emotional state trying to find out what happened to my son. So they feel like they can just say anything to me and that just roll on and goes that way. But that's the answer. Oh, it's obvious he was driving his vehicle. Well, how you know somebody else wasn't in the vehicle? That's when I demanded those fingerprinting and they was able to, according to them, do fingerprint. I didn't question that. I want to see the results of those fingerprinting. So that'll come back too eventually. All right. Let's see, you have any question? I think it was one here. FBI involved? No. As far as I know, no. The FBI is not involved in my son's case. I've been fighting for that. I sent the letter out to the chief of police, Chief Hall of Buckeye Police, and I also CC'd the city manager at the time and some of all the other officials in that letter. And in that letter, it was very highlighted that my son went missing in the crime scene. As y'all know, since I've been doing these searches, we found human remains out there. We found a human skull out there, and just a few last week, Buckeye found another body out there. Nobody. I'm gonna find an article and I would put it up here. But there's always crime going on out there. They find there's a dumping ground or something going on out there. The FBI is so close to federal lands and everything else. They should have had the FBI into that whole area. The whole area is a crime scene, and the whole area should be treated as a crime scene. I put that in the letter. The way I put that letter and the people I CC'd in that letter, he had no choice but to respond. And in that letter, he said that he already went to the FBI to get a case review. And when he sent us that letter, said he's requesting a case review at the FBI. My attorney immediately sent him a letter asking for me to be part of that case review. They ignored, they didn't respond. They decided to have this case review without me behind my back. I guess they didn't want me to hear what was going on in that whatever they told the FBI about this case. And they called me back and said, well, the FBI is not going to decide not to be in your son's case. They're not going to be in your son's case. They said they ain't coming in because you, Mr. Robinson, as a father, is doing such a great job on your own. They don't need to be there. And that was ridiculous to me. That's the kind of stuff I'm saying. They feel like they can say these crazy things to me, and I'm supposed to believe that. I mean, I really think they think I'm retarded or something. It's for them, when I start looking at these things hindsight, the things they say to me, it amazes me how little they must think of me as a person, a human being with the brain and with intelligence. Because you don't say things like that and think I'm supposed to roll with it and believe that. So I don't believe the FBI ever was calling to my son's case and things like that. So that'll be said to be seen too. Question: what about the seat position? Was in a position distance that Daniel would have likely used? I do not know. Like I told everybody, I have never seen my son's vehicle in person until July the 20th, when that vehicle was given to me that day when they showed the Buckeye Police Department showed it to me. First time I ever seen a vehicle. Mind you, and that was July 20th. Mind you, before my son went missing, we already had plans to be here in Arizona to meet him and his sisters. We always gonna be out at his place or his sister's place. We always gonna have a great time. That's when he wanted to show me this vehicle for the first time, and that was in July. The plan was to be in July. So the first time I was supposed to have seen that vehicle is Daniel showing me that vehicle himself. Turned out I ended up seeing it from the Buckeye Police Department showing me that vehicle in the state that it's in right there behind me. So all damaged up in a compound. They moved it from the scene. They didn't take me to the scene. They removed it from the scene and had showed me that vehicle for the first time at their department, at a compound yard. Now I can tell you how disrespectful that department is also. The weekend right after this vehicle been found on July the 19th, that very weekend, I already been having searches. People need to understand this. I've been having searches well before that vehicle showed up. My searches was out there. So I was out there every week searching for my son out there in that desert with volunteers. So we was out there on the ground already. So I didn't cancel my search because the vehicle showed up. I expanded my searches, meaning that I covered that area where supposedly, because I didn't know where the area was. I never knew it was, but at the time, I had a search coordinator. He found, he said, hey, Mr. Robinson, I know where the vehicle's found. We found an area on our Wednesday meeting where he said it'd be closer to where the vehicle found. He said he was going to show it to me. He knew because Buckeye told him for whatever reason, but didn't never tell me as a father, knowing I'm on the ground. I didn't know where that vehicle was located. But one thing happened that Saturday. My then search coordinator showed up late. And when he showed up, I was down in the area that we planned on that Wednesday. I followed the area and took the volunteers down there. We called it, that time we called it the quarry area. We sat down there, and when all of a sudden he showed up, and he had another vehicle that's following behind him, looked just like his vehicle, because he like to ride around this vehicle like a police vehicle, this white little truck he got. However, they both showed up, same type vehicle. I'm like, what's going on here? Who was that? Lo and behold, it was Chief Hall. I didn't know him at the time. He got out the vehicle. He said, "Hey, I'm Chief Hall," or whatever, to everybody, not to me. I told him who I was, Mr. Robinson. This is my daughter, and had those kind of conversations for a brief second. And he just yelled out. He started grandstanding. "Hey, everybody! Y'all want to know where this vehicle been found?" And me and my daughter looking like, "Well, why he never showed us?" I'm standing right there, but he's talking like wasn't even there. After even knowing who I am. He said, "Come on, follow me." And he had all the volunteers following behind him. We went up on that hill that kind of described what the worker said. Went up on that hill, went across. He said, "It's not too far. You leave your vehicles here. Not too far from the point." He took us out to that area. He stood out there in this little open area, and he started having this conversation with us. He said, "Mr. Robinson, your son's vehicle is pointed." He pointed down this little ravine. He said, "It's found right there. It's found right there." And I'm looking at that scene where he pointed at, and one thing I didn't notice, I hope it was in this thing, but I don't see it behind me on this thing either. But one thing that didn't look right, I believe behind a little circle with my son's picture is on this, but behind that circle where his face is, there's a stump. There's an old cactus that was struck by lightning and kind of burned up. So when he pointed down the area, I'm like, that don't look like the picture. I only had one picture, mind you. This is when I only had one picture they gave me. I look down there and I'm like, that look kind of strange. It don't look like the picture that I have, because I don't see that little stump thing. But I said, okay, well, he know what he's talking about. So yeah, that's where it was. He pointed down this ravine, and then after that, he started grandstanding again. He started talking, had everybody look at, hey, drawing all attention to himself, saying, "Hey, look, the cartel is really bad out here, and the cartel this and the cartel that, and they landed planes on Sun Valley Parkway at night to drop their drugs and this and that, and they take back off." And he's going through this whole story. At the meantime, my daughter came to me and said, "Dad, some man wanted to speak to you. He said he's the rancher." That's when I first met the rancher out there. He pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey, I don't know what Chief Hall talking." He said it kind of loud. "What are you talking about? I don't know why he's misleading you all, but the vehicle was found here." And I knew he was right, because I saw, first of all, I saw the stump thing. I remember that picture. And then there's glass on the ground. And he said, "I don't know why he mislead you." And Mr. Chief Hall heard what he said. He kind of turned a little funny in the face, and he just walked off, walked back over the hill somewhere, got his vehicle and left. Now, but both of them left, ended up leaving. But that's the first time, the only time those two ever came to the searches. Now, the thing is, that what I'm saying, when that happened there, when I'm looking at the disrespect, saying that, nobody ever came to me and said, "Mr. Robinson, at the scene, when they found my son's vehicle, let me show you where your son's vehicle was found, where we found it, where the rancher found it. Let's show you." And then, about ourselves, just me and my daughter. This is a family thing. Just be able to show us where this thing is located. That's kind of disrespect and things like that. I think, like I said, again, my opinion would be that that's the way they feel they can treat victims of a situation. And that's the department. It's a department problem, and it's a problem that I have to deal with when out here looking for my son. So I want y'all to really understand that kind of stuff too. All right, thank you, Minnie Trot, again for being here. Thank you, Barbara, for being here. And you're doing it from South Carolina. I really appreciate it. From Charleston, my son is a graduate, of the College of Charleston down there. Very great school. I was really, not just Daniel, his sisters, twin sisters, they graduated from that school also. Very good school. I really happy that they went to that school. Really beautiful place. Really grateful for that school. Thank you for putting that up. The fast and prayer would be on April the 20th. So you guys can do the fast and the prayer with us again. The hashtag would be fast and prayer for Daniel. Again, that'll be April the 20th. We all can do that again, get joined together and do our fast and prayer. Also, the next specialized operations search will be on the 16th of April. That'll be the next one at 6:45. you guys, the time has changed from 7:45. I haven't updated the website yet, so if you go on the website right now, everything need to be updated. As soon as I get up the Q&A, I think I have some time. I'll go ahead and update. If not, it'll be updated later on today, but it'll be done before this day is over with. But I'm updating the time and everything on the website. I just got behind on yesterday, had some things going on, but I will update that. But again, fast and prayer will be on the 20th. If you guys can come and join in with me and my team and people like you knew who all want to join in. So thank you so much. If you can do that, I really appreciate it. Also, S Modern, thank you for being here. And I, as you saying that's your comment on that. I can say from my own experience, I did was out on the road from following a vehicle that a man took a picture of that looked just like my son's vehicle from behind. It's very blurry. It was on the side of this road in Buckeye. My daughter and I and Gwen, we went out to that location to look at this area. Also, I brought along two other. One was an officer and a friend. We all black folks went out there to look at this area, scrub the ground to kind of see what kind of information and evidence we could find if the story was true. I kept in contact with the man because when we was on the way up there, to make a long story short, the vehicle was there. He saw it, and I called the Buckeye Police Department. And I was like, "Hey, look, this man called. If I can defend myself, hey, I got a message from this guy saying he see a vehicle like the son's. As soon as I could finish, I couldn't get the rest of it. He said, that ain't your son's vehicle. I said, wait, let me finish. When I told him, say, describe the damage and all that kind of. And the funny part is the damage he described it kind of matches this. He said something about the glass, like somebody tried to bust the glass in on the windshield, and the front end damage. He was saying those kind of things. Hindsight, thinking about that, that's what he was saying at the time. Telling this to the detective, I said, hey, can you send somebody out there to make sure it's not my son's vehicle? He was kind of being reluctant. Detective Biffin being kind of reluctant. And he's like, okay, well, I'll send a patrol car out there. I said, yeah, thank you. Because I asked him, can he send a patrol car out there? And he said, yeah, he'll do it. He finally said he'll do it. I called my daughter up and said, hey, we're going to go up there to this area. I'm not going to put it out here now, but we're going to go to this road and check that vehicle out. Before I can go pick my daughter up, the young man, he called me again, said, Mr. Robinson, the vehicle's gone. I just went back out there and it's gone. I said, that's crazy because Buckeye said they're going to send a patrol car out there. And he said, yeah, I seen the Buckeye Police Department's car passed me, but the vehicle's gone. So I called him back and said, hey, somebody, when y'all towed the vehicle away, he said he would find out. And to this day, I have never got answers every time I asked them about that. They won't give me an answer who towed it away or where it went or anything like that, right? Like I said, I was on the ground with my daughter and the other two, the officer and the other young lady, and Gwen was there too. And the problem is we're sitting out there on the side of the road and a pickup truck full of white guys came past us and called us the N-word. But the good part was my daughter sat back in the car right before it happened. So she didn't get to hear that, which I'm grateful for because she got in there. But that's something I'm accustomed to. It happens. And you got evil people out there like that and hateful people out there. But I later found out that area is an area of white supremacy. They call it sundown town. And I didn't know sundown towns still exist, but Buckeye do have some sundown areas. You're a black person, that black officer told me, hey, you and your family need to be out of that situation, out of that area before the sun goes down, literally. You don't need to be there. So we was able to, it was getting kind of late. We decided to get in our vehicles and we left. So yeah, you have some sundown areas in Buckeye still existing. So if you say something about white supremacists, yes, they're out there very heavily. And I want to put it onto a political party, but you already know some of those things that they subscribe to, and they're out there. They wear those flags and those red hats and everything else, and they would say those things to you. So they're out there. They're out there, and it happens. So so thank you very much. My voice is kind of going away. Thank you, Gisela, also for putting that up. Please help find Daniel.com. You guys, if you need to know anything about this case, anybody who's here and never heard about my son's case, you please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and you get all the information about everything you need to know, how you can help, and things alike. So thank you again, Giz, for putting that up. I do have a question again from Lois Strickland from North Carolina. Thank you for being here again this morning. And your question is, so basically they're looking at Daniel's like a runaway. So said they are not taking Daniel's case seriously. Well, and that's true. in my opinion, yeah, that's true. They're not taking it serious. They was really hard on trying to get me to, in my opinion, take my son things and leave. Hey, if you don't get this vehicle out here today, we're gonna have a total away and you're gonna have to pay storage fees. Literally what they told me upon showing me, take me in the back of the compound, and I'm literally looking at this vehicle and I'm stunned. I was so stunned, I couldn't even move. I felt like all my muscles tensed up and I couldn't move. You know, I couldn't even feel like I couldn't even take a step. I'm in shock to seeing this vehicle for the first time like that. And his answer to all of that, my emotional state is, hey, if you don't get this vehicle out here today, we're gonna have to get it towed out here. We're gonna call it towing, get it out here, and you got to pay storage fees. I mean, who does that? They wanted me to get out there so fast. Not only that, Detective Biffin, after he took me to that gate, he kept saying, hey, go in there, open that door. Hey, you can lift the airbags. And look, for some reason, he wanted me to touch that vehicle so bad. Obviously, hindsight looking at it at the time, I wasn't really catching on to that. I was really just stunned. I was just looking at it when he was saying that. I much as I wanted to, I couldn't move. And I say it was God. It was God, obviously, stiffing me up like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't being smart about it. I was being emotional about it. And I couldn't move. And he got me there 3 feet away from me, even closer. And I would move. So he took his hand and lifted the bags up so I can look through that window that was missing on the driver's side there. And he hold it up in the air and said, oh, yeah, you can look at it. Then he said, go on in the back, open the back door and look. And I wouldn't do it. So he opened the back door. And then I saw this little bag say NYPD. And he took that bag and I said, what is that? And because then I'm like, where my son have an NYPD bag in the back of his car? He took it out and he dumped the contents out. I can't remember what it was. He did so fast, dumped it out on the seat. And then I noticed the little baggies on the ground on the floor, which I later found is the samples from the well. So the well site. So, you know, that's where they put them, these little baggies. So long story, yes, that's the way they like to do things. So yeah, they want to make sure that he appears to be, I believe, a runaway. So, or somebody who decided, he's a grown man, so a runaway is probably not a good word, but a person who just decided to go off on his own and live his life as a monk or whatever the case may be, and just did all this. He masterminded all of this. He did that just to throw us off and go live another life. But thank you again, Lawrence, for the birthday wishes. Thank you, Shannon, for being here this morning, and I really appreciate it. I do have a question here from Terry C. Oh, I'm running out of time. So I'm getting ready to come down to the end of the Q&A. I just realized I've been here for an hour, 39 minutes. But question, have you gotten location data off of Daniel's cell phone yet? Have you had any forensics done on the phone itself? I may be able to get that done at no cost to you. I have taken care of a lot of that with the phone issues. Yes, those things are being taken care of as I speak, and I was able to get some things. So yes, and also if you do want to help out in any kind of way, you can go to the website, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and other ways you can help. You can put in that other ways you can help. You can click that tab up the top and put your skill sets there, Terry C. That will help out. And also for that type of deal, if you say, hey, you want to try to help in other ways where it's free, you can also hit the number that's below the screen, that's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. That is my direct cell phone number. It's a public cell phone number. You can contact me there to say, hey, I'm Terry C. And then say the same thing you're saying here on the question, and we can talk about those things behind the scene about how you can help in that way. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, again, I'm collecting, trying to get the revenue up to get everything done, not only the cell phone. There's another cell phone was found near the scene that had to be taken care of. All the clothing that was on the ground needed forensics work done on his boots, the safety vest, the vehicle itself, the paint, the red transfer paint on the side of the vehicle, the yellow transfer paint on the side of the vehicle, also the airbags to, you name it. All that stuff had to be forensically taken care of. His personal computer, his work computer, all that kind of stuff need to have some forensics things done to it and things pulled from it. So the cell phone is the first thing that's going to have to do things one by one. And but when I get those answers for those type deals, then that'd be good too. But I wanted you all to know that yes, Terry C, if you have any kind of ways you want to help out, yes, you can hit me up at that 200 number and the 803-200 number, and we can talk about those things behind the scene and see how you can help me in that endeavor. I welcome that. I welcome all the help I can get, and I really appreciate it. I have a question here from Grandma H. Thank you for being here again. He was coming back to get his stuff when he was done with the monastery training school, according to the police, I assume. I assume that too. You know what I'm saying? The way they're framing the story about my son, they want to have you all believe that my son, the coworkers said. Now, I really want to know who these coworkers are. First of all, they want to label those coworkers that said whatever. But they showed up, say, hey, we talked to one of the workers that's supposed to be his friend that said, they say he said this thing, this one worker. But then they say the co-workers would ask, they like to use these plural stuff, said this. Now I can mind you, again, I have meetings with his company. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have one coming up soon. And I learned the first thing when I started my investigation from great day one, when I hit this ground, I'm gonna find out what happened to my son. So I had several meetings, board meetings with his company, even one with the owner of the company. And one thing I found out about my son's movement in the company, he's a field geologist. That's his title, field geologist, hydrogeologist. That meaning that those field geologists, they rarely ever come into the office. So coworkers don't see, they talk to each other on these chats they got, but they don't see each other, right? They literally told me, I ain't seen Daniel in the office for a long while. So how's this in this police report that the coworkers say he was acting strange and odd and to these days when they ain't even see him? So I'm trying to figure that out. Like, okay, where'd that come from? Who are these co-workers that Daniel has never ever been around when he's going to the job site? That's the reason why he had a work computer inside that vehicle, because he get assignments off a work computer. He told me that. My son was just, and the weird part is my son just built a computer. I helped him. He was asking me questions. That's what we do. We talked for 2 hours. Days before he went missing, he finished his computer, building his own computer. Very proud of, just like he's proud of this Jeep. Living life, plans. Why you be building a computer if you're so depressed, you're so down, and you can't even, how can you build a computer? He was building a computer. He built that computer. I have it to this day. That's one of the computers I had to get forensically taken care of. But he just built that computer, put the RAM in there. He was asking me all kinds of stuff, get more power to his computer, more memory, whatever, and everything. And lo, in the next few days, he's missing. Really? He had plans to go hiking that weekend with his sister. Really? So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. So, but that don't make it in the report. That show that what his mentality really was. He making plans. People who was depressed, who don't care about life, want to get away with life, would not be making plans for their sisters go hiking on a weekend before they went missing. All right. Thank you, Lola, again for the birthday wishes. I know everybody, I want to address that really quick. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. Yeah, today is my birthday. I'm really trying to avoid saying that. But yes, today is my birthday, and I'm really grateful for you guys saying happy birthday to me. And I don't want to seem like I'm unappreciative, because I really appreciate you all for the birthday wishes. I just want to try to make sure I stay focused on my son. I'm thanking God, first of all, for giving me another year to be on this earth. That's the Father's birthday goal for me. I'm sure Gwen and some other folks, they're going to be able to say a lot of things once I get off of here and plan some things for birthdays. But, I'm not one of those person that really celebrate birthdays like that, other than just thanking God for a new year. And I'm really grateful that you all taking the time out to say happy birthday to me. That do put a smile on my face. It does make me feel good that Lola, like yourself and the rest of you, that's saying happy birthday to me. I really appreciate that you think enough of me to be able to do that. So God bless you for that. And I'm really grateful. And I love you for that. I love you for saying that. And also love you for all the support that you've given me and my family in trying to help locate my son. So that's very important. So thank you so much for that, Lola. I really appreciate it. God bless you for that. And I keep seeing it over and over again. And I'll be honest with you, I want to smile and I want to acknowledge that. And that's what I'm doing it real quick here, to acknowledge that you all are saying happy birthday to me. And I'm really grateful for that. Thank you so much. Also, I think that's a question I see, Terry. I hope I didn't miss a question here. But thank you so much, you knew, for pointing that out for me. Coming down chat again. If you guys have questions, put the word question there first. And if I miss it somehow, still put the word question there first, or put a big question mark or a big Q, something there that I can really notice your question as I go down. Excuse me, as I go down timeline. Also, I may be putting things like the comments here. They love Mr. Robinson. Y'all doing a great job in your circumstances. You got this. God's got you. I need those kind of comments, and I really appreciate your comment on that. Like I said, it helped me with my morale. It helps me keep going. Just like you guys saying happy birthday this morning. That's really nice of you. That kept me going. Put some positive times in my day. My day can be filled up with a lot of stressful and hurtful things. So to be able for you guys to say things, happy birthday, to really good comments like that, I really appreciate it. That's what the number on the bottom is for. Also, if you guys want to text, and I try to get to every text I can, I will. Sometimes I'm really slow. People that text me and call me will tell you that I'm really slow at response, but that's only because I have a lot going on today, and plus two, I have a lot of texts and things I have to go through. Just not just that phone, but my own regular phone. I have family and friends and other things. Whether it's journalists to whatever. So I have another phone for those type things that's going on, and so I have to try to work with all that at one time. So thank you for your patience. So Leo 37, thank you for the love, and also Grizzly love. I love the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have been gracious to me. Have several Grizzlies out there in the searches every week. Rose is one of them. And I'm really grateful you all come from Gizzle K's channel, Grizzly True Crime, and I'm really grateful you all being here and support. Lisa, thank you for being here this morning. And the system do hurt. Thank you for being here for you from YouTube. But the system does hurt when it's not working for people. It's not just happening to my family, but it happens to a lot of families. A lot of families don't have the know-how, or don't have the means, or whatever the case may be, to get their family, their loved one story out there. But it happens to a lot of families, and it has to stop one way or the other. We're gonna make sure some of that thing stop. That's what when I was going back to the petition, we kind of got off of that. But that was the petition is for. Also, is to hopefully in my efforts and the foundation and things like that, and my speaking in the public will kind of help make some change. My goal is to change the way they police missing people. I say, instead of you assuming the best and look for the worst, no, you assume the worst first and work your way back that this person is okay. So the first thing they should do when the family know that person and say, I don't care how grown they are, we need, first of all, we need to change this adult stuff too. Changing the way, we look for kids and children, we're supposed to, but also the same thing from an adult, you know what I'm saying? It should be the same way. Also, we can say, hey, Mr. Robinson, we scratch a flight for a helicopter to go out there to search for your son the day of and the day after, because he's a grown man. If he want to disappear, he can't. Like, what in the world in history, not even knowing much about my son, in a day after he went missing, you assume that he want to go missing. See, that mindset off the beginning was all wrong. So you cannot just assume something when you got a family member and you pinning up co-workers against a family member. Well, the co-workers said they believe he went. We're using it based on the co-workers. We believe that he just wanted to run off on his own, despite forget what the family says, who been there since his birth. He raised them himself. Who knows about his child? Who knows about his person? Forget what the father said. I don't care what that father said. I care what these workers say. They know, these workers know him better than that. They know the dad. Then the dad know him. Come on now, that's ridiculous. And that's what I'm saying. We're gonna change that system. And when I say we as a people, and we're gonna sign this petition, and those petition, every one of those petitions that those signatures that Gisela put up there, and the numbers that's on that petition right now, those are people. That's you. That's all of you who signed that petition. That's your voice, and I'm going to use that voice to the best of my ability to get these things changed. We're over 100-some thousand signatures, 100-some thousand people. I don't want to call them signatures. I want to call them people who's out there who believe in everything that I believe in, who's supporting what I believe in, and we're going to get some of that stuff changed, because it's happening to many families, not just mine, but it happened to other families too, and that's a shame, because a person is grown. You're going to say some crap like that, and that's your approach to looking for somebody, and you wonder why we got a problem with missing people in this world, in this country. So that's some things that have to change. All right, question, Mr. Robinson, did the co-worker say if it was downpouring or sprinkling, etc., concerning the rain? He didn't say rain. He didn't say it was pouring down or any phrase like that. I can't say that. Matter of fact, I don't even know he even said rain. He told the officers that, but he didn't tell me that. He just said about a sail passing by, and I'm assuming rain sail. I don't know if it was actually raining or it was going to rain or what. He didn't say it was actually raining either. But that's what I was told by the officers. He's saying it was raining, and the rain washed the tracks away. He didn't tell me that. He just told me that, there's a sail coming through or something out of other. And he told me that, and told my son that he can just wait. No, he believes the sail's going to pass. And they just go ahead and stay there, because he said he's going to stay because he thinks sail's going to pass by. So that lets you know, if he said that, he even knew that the rain was going to be long. You know what I'm saying? Because it must be so small, it must be one cloud or something. He can actually see that rain sail passing over. And like I tell you, it don't rain much here in Arizona. And when it do rain, if it rained 5 minutes, that's a miracle. To me, in Arizona, for it to rain more than 5 minutes, that's a long time for Arizona. I say the most I've seen the rain here is a minute or two, and literally. And I'm not even making it up. I took a stopwatch, and as soon as I felt a drop hit my skin, and a drop at that, it don't rain no pouring down. But if a drop hit my skin, I start a stopwatch, I guarantee you it won't go farther than 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Before that thing is gone. So I don't buy a lot of that stories, but the Buckeye Police Department did. So that's their way of handling a case, and that's the way they approach cases. And that's a problem for me, and it's not going to happen on my watch. Not when my son is missing. Maybe their son just want to handle with their own child. I feel sorry for that child, but you know what I'm saying. But it's not going to happen with mine. So I'm gonna push everything I can to make it right. Thank you for the happy birthday. I really appreciate that, Saleo 37. Again, I really appreciate y'all for the birthday wishes. Thank you so much. God bless you for that. And thank you for your great comments. Thank you for that. I'm not giving up. I really appreciate it. And you wouldn't give up. Nobody would give up, as far as I understand. I can't say nobody, but you know what? Many of you would not give up on your loved one if they are missing. I had to get off this Q&A. It's going on 2 hours. I can't believe it. But I'm trying to make sure I get the rest of these questions. Question: do you need cell phone location data, etc., done on the phone? Like I said, again, that cell phone is being taken care of, being processed, but it's other things that need to be processed in Tennessee. Again, if you want to discuss those things, we can do it on the 803-200-7994 numbers on the bottom, and we can discuss that and see other ways that you can help with that. So I really appreciate it. I love to know more about you and what you have to offer and provide. So thank you so much if you can do that. God bless God bless you on that. Excuse me, y'all. We hear my voice going away. It's getting there to the time where I need to probably get off. So, all right. I do have a question here from D Love. The question is, Mr. Robinson, have you found out if any of the land is under tribal jurisdiction? Well, it is some on the White Tank Mountain that's on the east side of Sun Valley Parkway, but I haven't seen any. As far as I remember on the mapping, no, I don't think any in the area where my son went missing. I do know that's state property there, that's private property, and then that's BLM federal property. So those are the three properties I know is there. One is controlled. The state property is Maricopa County, and the rest of the private areas is Buckeye under their jurisdiction. And then it's also, like I said, the state, which is the Maricopa County stuff, and then state police. And then you have the near right here, just a couple steps away from where this vehicle found is federal land. So for that vehicle to be that close to federal land, I still don't understand why the FBI don't see a need to come into and find out what happened near their land, or if who's to say that vehicle didn't cross their land to get pushed down in that ravine. When I say push, that's the way I look at it. That vehicle's placed there, pushed down in there, or whatever however they did it. After it had been crashed and after the airbags went out, they made sure to get that vehicle down in the area. it's ironic. Before that vehicle showed up in that ravine, I was by that time I was already doing my searches like I told you guys, and I was already reaching out to local news and starting to get local news attention first. I worked hard for that, and I started saying things on local news, and lo and behold, this vehicle showed up right 2 days after that vehicle. I'm gonna say it just like that, the way I feel. The vehicle showed up from that other area that got to the picture where whoever told it away. 2 days later, all of a sudden, they say, "Hey, Mr. Robinson, this rancher found your vehicle." That's how ironic is that. 2 days after that vehicle got towed from the other location somewhere that I don't know, they won't tell me about. Then also all of a sudden, 2 days later, they call me saying, "Hey, Mr. Robinson, this your son's vehicle was found by a rancher." So 3 days later, because it was on the 19th, but 3 days later, on the 20th, they told me the vehicle was found. So that's questionable to me too. All right, I have a question here from Oklahoma. Who notified your son to come to that area on that day? Who notified your son to come to that area on that day? I guess he's a field geologist. I guess if I'm understanding your question correctly, my son is a field geologist. He worked for Matrix New World, Matrix Southwest Groundwater. As a field geologist, what he does, he go to these different well sites. He get assigned to. He get assignment on his work computer. He get assignment. Get up in the morning. My son have an alarm for everything. Alarm for getting up in the morning, takes coffee, get up, and he was very responsible. He get his assignment. He went to one well site that was on his list that day. Went to go take care of whatever he did on that first well site, and then he supposedly went to the second well site where he ended up missing. So he got assignments from. He was notified to go to these locations from his job. His job gave him assignments, and that's where he go wherever he's assigned to go. Many days, my son and I talk from his job site. Many nights, he worked late at night, and we on the phone for 2 hours talking. We always have a 2-hour conversation. He's at his job, so I can hear the machine running in the background. What's that? Oh yeah, I'm just here, Dad. I'm in the truck. He was chilling and waiting on some results, some numbers or whatever. You got to go check every so often. I guess the water volume or whatever he's doing. He said, "Hey, hold on, Dad. I got to check this real quick," and he get back on the phone, and we just continue our conversation. So I talked to him many times at well sites, many occasions. But anyway, Angelica Cole, thank you so much for being here this morning again. Question, apologize if already mentioned. Have you had any progress getting the interior of the nearby wells searched? What kind of equipment would that take? Yes, I did. I finally, it took this year. I had those wells checked this year. I have it on a live, what I have Gizla K was doing a live for me. And this police department did exactly what I knew to happen. According to that guy, that worker at the well that last seen my son, he was there. He was there for a whole entire week. Even after my son went missing, he's still working on that well, that one well, still working there. He told me he was working there every day, all day on that well, right? The Buckeye Police Department said they had sent helicopters on the 20th. They said on the 25th, but it was on 26th. They sent a helicopter out there, but the worker, regardless, he was there on the 25th and the 26th and on the 27th. But anyway, according to that worker, when I went to interview him, because I told you I was doing my own investigation, when he told me that story about how he stayed to the left of the tracks and all this kind of stuff, one thing he told me that stood out, he said, I asked him, was he there? How, he was there. He said, I was there here the whole entire week. At that point, I've been here every day. I said, oh, okay, great. I said, so you was here when the Buckeye Police Department came to search the well and they had this helicopter out there. He said, well, I ain't personally seen them at the well. I ain't hear no helicopter personally, but I heard that they're supposed to be doing something like that. So I'm scratching my head in my mind like, that's strange to me. So if you was at the well site, and you didn't see any Buckeye Police Department personnel, and you didn't hear a helicopter, and I'm telling you, the helicopter will not be missed. You can't even miss a bee that's flying around that desert. It's so quiet out there. If you stand still, trust me, you will not miss a helicopter or anything like that. So you trying to tell me you didn't see none of that, and you was there at the well site. So they never did come to that well site ever, but they put it in their report. According to that worker, they didn't have been there, but they put it in their report. Now, like I said, in hindsight, this year, I asked the Buckeye Police Department to come out there again for the second time. They came out. They're supposed to brought some cadaver dogs with them. They're supposed to search these wells and they're supposed to search these mines. Like as usual, the first time they came out, they came empty-handed. This time they came out with something, right? They didn't set. They couldn't get it done. They couldn't get this well site done that day, but they said they'll come later on and do it. Come back and refit. So what they did, they came on a weekday. I went out there with them. I took somebody with me, 2 guys with me, to meet the Buckeye Police Department out there. They brought this cadaver. They called a cadaver dog. And I promise, I got a picture of you guys. If I put it up here on the next Q&A, you look at that dog and say, oh, he's so cute. They're like a family pet. It's a big, fluffy, cute little white dog. And they say that's a cadaver dog. I mean, this kind of crazy stuff in a way. That's a cadaver dog. I can't say they ain't trained a little family pet as a cadaver dog. I do not know. Maybe it is, but I did ask for the paperwork. They have reluctant to this day, haven't given me the paperwork to prove that that's a certified cadaver dog. And because I was suspicious of that, seeing a little pretty fluffy dog my mind, I thought I saw a bull mastiff type, German Shepherd at least type dog or something, but no, not a little fluffy pretty dog that I would like to take home and show to my little daughter. So not nothing like that. And they call it a cadaver dog. I do not know. They're sniffing around. They say dog didn't alert or nothing, whatever the case may be. But the funny part was when they had to open the door to let the dog in, it was a dog inside the vehicle that looked like he could be a cadaver dog, but that dog never did hit the ground. But they also had these guys come in with this makeshift camera stuff, the system they got, and they went into one well. They couldn't get in the well that they say my son was last seen at, but they went to the other well that's north of that and put a camera down in there. I was really happy, but I found out later, and I didn't want to be critical because people look at me, oh man, he just a police basher or whatever the case may be. So I try to be positive online, but behind the scene, I was really infuriated because this department hired some people to come there, first of all, with some kind of makeshift camera they created, and they put it down almost on a little string, go down in there, and they was upset. They literally put that camera down to the water level. The bottom of that camera touched the water. When they pulled that thing up, they was angry. Oh my God, my camera got wet on the bottom. But they left it just like that. Hey, look, we searched as well, Mr. Robinson. The water surface, ain't nothing to see here, nothing to do, and that's it. And I wasn't selling for that. So I had to go get my own people out there who actually really inspect wells. And you guys seen the footage. I would probably put it back up there again. We'll go back through it again and show y'all what I seen on the bottom of that well. We already talked that before. But yes, to answer your question, Angelica, I had both of those wells searched. There was several wells that I wanted to do, but I had those 2 wells, the main ones, searched. And that was underwater camera. Those wells go down at least close to 1,000 feet. One of them do. The other one's like 800 some feet, but the other one like closer to 1,000 feet down before it hit the bottom. And I did have those inspected. Now, one of them is questionable. We're still working on that. Also, I went to go to the other well sites in that area. Found out there wasn't well site. There was actually mines. So we had to do a refit. And I'm still waiting on this company to be able to do that again. Go down to these mines. I'm waiting on BLM for permission and all that kind of stuff. So to get those mines searched too, because it's vertical mines and they're very deep. And we don't know how deep they go after the water level. So those going to be searched too. So to answer that question, yes, I have those things done and I'm still working on it. And all the still, guys, comes with funding. It costs money. This costs money to get things done. That was fortunate. I was able to get that through different means. And I'm really grateful for that company that came out. So, but I'm saying some of the things like funding problems. So if you guys can help out, that'll help out a lot. All right, D-Love, question. Mr. Robinson, if you can share with us how many wells are out there and have they been searched? Again, yes, the 2 mines, 2 wells, the one that my son supposedly has been seen and the other one north of that has been searched. There's 2 more that's south of that. Well, actually 3. We think it's mines. We thought was wells, but well, 2 of them, I'm sorry, south of that. We thought there was wells, but they actually turned out to be mines. Again, what I was just saying, and we're gonna have those searched. So working on that right now as we speaking. So thank you so much for your question, and thank you all for your comments and stuff like that too. I see some of these comments, and I'm not brushing them all. So but there's a lot of comments in the chat going on, and I really appreciate you guys standing here with me. I see some people staying on. I know a lot of you may have to go to work and things like that. I'm trying to go down this thing real fast here, see if I see any more questions. I'm about to end this Q&A. I've been going on for 2 hours now, and it's been long. Again, fasting and prayer coming up real soon. I guess you guys can join in that with us to contact me. Again, the number's on the bottom of the screen. If you guys, please, if you have any, thank you also, Nikki and Shay. It is odd. Thank you guys for everything you put on here in this comment section. But again, if you guys have anything, know anything, please hit that tip line up there. It's right behind me. If you don't want to talk to the live operators by calling that number on the banner behind me, you also can text the word tip to that number that's behind me on the bottom of the screen. And you still can do it that way. You don't have to talk to anyone, and you can stay anonymous or, saying if you like. So thank you, Barbara Kennedy, for being here this morning, showing your love and your support. Thank you. Yeah, it is heartbreaking, and thank you so much. I have a question here from Terry C. Do you use data off Daniel's phone? Do you? I can't really understand that question, but I'm still working on that phone. We're working that phone, and those phones is being processed as we speak. So thank you so much for your question. I really wish I could understand that question a little bit more, and I apologize, Terry C. Again, if you want to chat more about the phone or ways you can help, you can also, like I said, go on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Other ways you can help, fill out your skill sets, and also at the same time, you can also hit me up on the 803-200-7994 number, and we can talk about that a lot farther. So thank you so much for your question. If anybody else have a question, I'm coming down the timeline. I'm like really fast, so if I miss anything, I apologize. You can save for the next Q&A, but I'm going down really quickly to try to get to the end. Probably get 1 or 2 more questions in, and then I'm gone. If there's any more questions, I don't see any more. Well, it's going a little longer. But if there's no questions there, I will end this Q&A. So thank you so much for coming in again. Thank you, Barbara Kennedy, for the birthday wishes. You knew I see you saying this a question up the top up there. For some reason, I don't see it. I've been scrolling on it just now, trying to find it. Again, Sale 37, thank you for being here this morning. I don't see your question, but I will try to get to it next time. DP has a question. Have Gizla K pull back up the burnt car and make sure that the bones were forensically confirmed to be the guy who owned the car. Be sure not son. The charge at gas station for a price gas, I guess. I don't know what you're saying about the Gizla K. You say pull back up the burned car and make sure the bones were forensically confirmed by the guy who owned the car. I don't know what car you're talking about. I don't know anything from Gizla K that you're referring to. So I'm really confused, DP, on that question. And I didn't hear anything about somebody being burned up in the car and things like that. So if you can clarify that on the next question you have or whatever, that definitely helped me out to understand it. And thank you, New, for all the hearts and love. I really appreciate it. And we will find Daniel. I know how passionate you are with that. And I thank you. All right, got another one for DP. Can't keep retyping because the other stuff, that chat. I'll text you, Mr. Robinson. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, you can use that 803-200 number. And just say, hey, this DP. So you guys kind of remind me of who you are when you text. That'll help out too. So thanks so much. And that'll give me some indication of what we were talking about on the Q&A. I really appreciate it. I'm going down here. Thank you all for the happy birthday wishes. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for being here, first of all. And thank you for your birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. All right. I think I'm coming down to the end. I don't see any more questions coming up. And let's see, Fallen Water Dragon. I have seen you before. So thank you so much for being here, coming into this Q&A. You guys can hit that like, share, subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Thank you, RQ, for being here this morning. Good morning to you. Again, you hit that like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification. That'll help me get the algorithm out and get my son's story out to our father. I think I said RQ. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you also, Lisa, for being here this morning and being a part of this Q&A. I really appreciate your time that you're sharing with me. I really appreciate it. And Aisha, I appreciate everybody who's giving well wishes. Again, I'm Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson. He went missing on June 23rd. I've been here since June 26th searching for him. I'm doing everything I can as a father, as a person who don't know anything, just learning as I go to find my son, whether that's conducting my own searches, to my own distribution of flyers, to making my own, having a channel here to make my own, put my son's story out there, to make my own news cycle, and if you want to, or ways to get Daniel's story out, to doing my own investigation, to you name it. That's what you do when you want to really find your loved one. You have to put yourself in it all out. You know what I'm saying? God bless that I'm in a position where I was able to do so. Some family and some people may not be in that certain position, but God allowed me to be in this position to be able to do so. And I'm really grateful for him and grateful for God's wisdom he gave me, and to be able to look at things and just don't take the word of police officers or somebody who come to work every day and approach your person's case as if it's not their child. Because I'll tell you what, if it had to be one of those officers or their children, this case would not be going the way it was. Like, again, I was pointed out, if this had been a police cruiser laying on the ground like that, they would have said, well, the story is that officer tell the family, hey, well, the other officer was acting a little strange that day. And well, if he's a grown man, if he want to leave off on his own, he can, you know. None of that would have went down like that. Everybody know that. As soon as that officer would have been missing, there would have been every officer and station all over this whole entire country would have been out in that desert. That desert would have got combed like it wouldn't even, they would have pulled like they probably would have found Jimmy Hoffa out there, because they would have put so many officers and cadaver dogs, you name it. They would spend millions of dollars out there searching for one person. My son is worth that too. Everybody's a family member. Those remains of people we found out there in that desert, they deserve that too. You know what I'm saying? No matter how we try to classify a person and try to make them less of a human, we all are human, and nobody's any different. My son is better than nobody, nobody's better than him. And so, you know what? I'd say it like this. We all deserve the same treatment each time and every time. So I really thank you guys again for being out here on this Q&A. I've been here for a long time. I really had to get out of here this time, but you know what? I love you all, and I'm really grateful for the time that you have spent here with me in this Q&A. Again, please don't forget that we do have the searches coming out this week. This upcoming search, I'm going to say. We're going to still have that on the 16th. It's on the bottom of the screen there. So don't forget that the time changes at 6:45. The city distribution will never change. That's every week. But the city searches, the desert searches, specialized desert search, operator search is on this one's going to be on the 16th, but it's every other week. And that's because of funding. I wrote it down, being able to utilize the equipment I was normally using. I know it's very expensive, but I need them. But I had to make do these searches the best way I can. Now I'm down to once every other week. I'm able to do so because it helps the supporters and the volunteers out. It helped my coordinator out for having it every 2 weeks. And the fact is that at this point, I'm not doing a rescue mission on my son out there in the desert. It's a recovery. So, it's not, it's urgent, but it's very urgent for me. But, long as I'm out there searching for him, and if he's out there somewhere, we know we're doing a recovery, and I would have to bring him back home one way or the other. So it's hard for me to say that, but it's the facts. And but if my son's not in that desert, that's the reason why I have a tip line out here. That's the reason I have a city distribution. That's why I have flyers going all over the place. That's why I have billboards, there's banners, to car magnets, whatever you name. I have all that because if the possibility my son is out there, then I need to find him. That's why I have a tip line. You guys know something, heard something, seen something, say something. If you, like I say again, you can text the word tip to that number. and do the same thing. If you just want to tell me your tip, you can call the number that's below on the bottom of the screen. All that's failed, you want to help this kind of way, and you just don't know how, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. That's on the bottom of the screen, and you can I'll show you support there and tell you all kind of ways, from donating to sign a petition to other ways you can help, print out the flyers, whatever way you can help. You can find on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. If you really want to get involved and you want to say something to the Buckeye Police Department, that's their number right there on the bottom of the screen. You can give whatever, say whatever you want to say to them. All the thing I'm asking you guys on my behalf, I don't want them working this case. So then we have to say, hey, look, I want y'all to do something about this. No, they need to pass this case on. I have no confidence in them. They prove that they have no confidence. They don't have anything to investigate. So they can play these games with me and say, well, yeah, we're going to investigate. We investigate. Those are word games to me. Those are not actions. Those are word games. So again, if you want to volunteer in other ways, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and find other ways you can volunteer. Again, I want to put that back up again one more time. If you guys want to talk to Chief Hall is his name, and you want to say that's their phone number. If you guys want to reach out to them and ask them to move this case over to the FBI or some other department that can handle this case, that's what I want. That's what the families ask for. That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for that department to do anything. They did enough. They did enough, to me, in my opinion, damage, and I need to get somebody else into this case. Again, thank you for coming out to support me and my family. I really appreciate for all the birthday wishes. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this channel, because that helps the algorithms, help the algorithm get the story out and get this channel out, because I really need to reach out to as many people as I can. So thank you again, you all, for being here. I really love you. God bless you. Talk to you soon.